Facebook having its first annual loss ever since the company went public back in 2012. CEO Mark Zuckerberg has now lost a reported $22 billion, just him, of his net worth. That's more than any of the other world's 500 richest billionaires, though there are a few alligator tears for him, leading some to speculate that he might want to take a lesson from Google founder Larry Page, who Wall Street Journal opinion writer Andy Kessler says sets a very good example by keeping a very low profile at Google and having a second on whom he can blame anything that goes wrong. So is that what Zuckerberg should do in 2019? What do you say, gang?
This company is probably the single most destructive company to the tech space this year and possibly triggered a lot of the problems that are in a lot of other companies by drawing so much attention. Stock fell so much. I mean, I can't feel too bad for somebody who lost $22 billion. My New Year's resolution is to have $22 billion to lose someday.
Just one.
That said, I kind of think Sheryl Sandberg is sort of the fall person, so to say, for this company. He's not the most visible, but half the time we see him is when he's dragged around in Congress, shaking him down for something. But I do think this company has a serious image problem, not so much with Instagram, but with Facebook, particularly in America. Abroad, I think it's still a very useful company where the services exceed the negatives, definitely in countries that don't have the media that we have here. But here, I think they've done serious damage. I don't see a easy path out of that without major firing. And maybe that's what will happen, is there'll be new front-end kind of CEOs, and he will do more of a Larry Page and kind of disappear, other than when the government shakes him down, which is going to continue more and more with the congressional changes we just saw.
I think it was Buffett who once said it takes a lifetime to build a relationship and 20 minutes, reputation,
20
and 20 minutes to lose it. And I think that is what happened here. Look, they're heading farther south than the New York Knicks season at this point in time. They're losing millennials, and arguably that Mr. Zuckerberg did not do a great job on the Hill. Earnings and sales have been heading south, decelerating. I don't know how they're going to get it back. It's a shame to watch. And, you know, the old story that when things are at its best, you need to be your most paranoid. I think they forgot that also. And you see what's happened is the stock's down 40% from the highs, and I suspect it's going to go lower.
The question is it too late to bring back MySpace? I mean, they are.
Yes, the answer.
Yeah,
Yes.
they got serious problems here. I don't think 2019 is going to be enough to fix them. I think eventually we get over it if they do the right things and make the right moves. But this is going to. They're in the doghouse for quite a while.
I think that the lesson here is that CEOs should stay out of the spotlight. Look at Elon Musk's fate with all of his tweets and some of his behaviors. And I think that Larry Page has it right. Staying out of the spotlight has actually really helped him as being founder of Google, and he is still CEO of Alphabet. But yes?
I would note that the difference, though, is though there was definitely some cases this year of Elon Musk doing damage to the company, including SEC fines, he's also adding a lot of value by being visible, by tweeting a lot. He's done more. I mean, he can sell a flamethrower just on a tweet, basically. I don't see where this company is actually benefiting at all from Zuckerberg being in the public space at all.
I hear you. I just think having a lower profile sometimes helps more than hurts, and I think it's a good lesson that maybe you always have a strong second in line or a number two. Is Sheryl Sandberg really that person for Zuckerberg? Right?
You know,
yes.
The other problem is they become, they used to be a great community, and they still are, but they become a data-collecting monster, and for me, a stalker. I mean, if I was in Nome, Alaska, and I wanted to do, and I wanted to Google a tour with some Siberian Huskies, and I went on a computer, 5 days later, I could go to Facebook, and there'd be an ad targeted to me. I'm not so sure I signed up for that.
Honestly,
I think that makes a lot of people mad.
I do feel a little like I'm stalked, because you just say something. It seems like nowadays with Alexa and all these sound mechanisms, you say something, and the next thing you know, you're getting inundated by all these ads and everything. But the point that Andy Kessler was making specifically was that Larry Page put Sundar Pichai, I can never pronounce his name, but the head of Google as the front man. And if anything goes wrong, he can
He's
pin
a
it on him.
scapegoat.
And Zuckerberg hasn't figured out the same way to do that with Sheryl Sandberg, although these New York Times pieces certainly paint her as having some problems.
But that's the problem. She is not a good front person, and he is a terrible front person. There are good CEO frontmen. There are bad CEO frontmen.
Exactly.
You can't throw them all and lump them in and say all CEOs have to stay in the background.
Also,
just get a good one.
Something must be different because essentially the revenue model is very similar. I mean, it's basically hyper tracking us and then selling off that information. I mean, Google's actually gotten away. Their brand is still strong, and if you think about it, they've done things almost as bad as Facebook. I mean, they basically turned search into advertising search. On a mobile phone now, when you type in a word, it's just ads. You have to really scroll down to get to what the core business used to be, and it's been a very slow creep where you really don't even know anymore what is the real search result.
Well, the problem is not a slow creep. The problem is that there are too many creeps, and they're all looking at us and looking at what we do. We got to get the creeps out of that business.